G'day, how you going? Ian Applis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my video where I want to teach you how to paint beautiful acrylic art. First, I want to get the size of the canvas on the screen, and also over here I'll get the colours going up there as well. That way you can pause it and write them down. Watch the video, know what's up ahead, and then play and pause and paint along with me, okay? So without further ado, get on over here and let me show you what we're going to do. Okay, this is a page out of a canvas pad. It's canvas paper, it's not actually cloth. I've run out, I've got to get some more canvas, but not to have you waiting for the next one, I've found this and I'll do a painting on this, see how we go. Now to get the sky colour, I simply want to use the soft bodied white. I've got no mediums in this, no retarder, no water, nothing at this stage. I just want to use this to coat the canvas. So I want to get this all over the tube of this canvas paper, or if you've got a canvas cloth onto your canvas anyway. Now I've got that on there. It's quite lumpy and brush strokey and thick and heavy. I want to get that now brushed down to a thin even coat. I'm going to go left and right because that way feels more easy for me. I've got a lot of paint on my brush. I just want to wipe the bulk of it off and keep brushing that to a thin even coat till I'm happy with it. Now, this is acrylic. Now, hopefully this paper doesn't buckle. I didn't wet it. I want to get the sky colour on there now. Now, for my sky colour, I'm simply going to use cerulean blue because I feel that's a beautiful, natural looking colour for a daytime sky. I want to get this mainly at the top first and then bring it down. Now, see how that white paint that I put on underneath, it's allowing this to smear across the canvas, not too heavy. I do want to coat the whole canvas in this cerulean blue. Now everything is neat, meaning there's nothing added to it. And I'm feeling that's a good colour for the sky. I'll just get the bottom. It's very draggy. I'm not used to painting like this, but I'm out of my comfort zone, that's okay. It's always good to step out of your comfort zone and test yourself. Nice thin even coat, getting that down to where I want it. Now down here I've got the reference picture on my monitor sent in by a Facebook group member, and I want to create these clouds. I want to get these colours, the grey, there's a bit of red tinge in there, and I want to get all those colours onto the palette and work out. I'm analysing the picture. I've got this one behind here, I've got this behind there, and I've got this piece behind there. So I want to make sure I do that in that order because I want to paint this painting. I really like it and I know I can do it. Now I want to give these colours a go from what I've been studying in the reference. I want some of the alizarin, I want a bit of French ultramarine blue, my toning grey and my titanium white paint. Now that grey colour where I can see the slight bit of red into it, I want to mix that colour, and I want to get different values of the grey and the grey as well. So with those colours that I put onto the palette, the white, the grey, the ultramarine and the alizarin, I want to start mixing those values. So I just got a flat brush. I'm going to use this to mix it. So I want to get that grey first, that bit of grey. I'm going to wet my brush, and I want to mix that one with the slight red into it. So just a little bit of this into there. Now look at that, how powerful that is. Now I want to get some of the ultramarine as well. I'll pull it down here and then I'll introduce it. There, I've got that vibe going. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So I'm mixing that colour. Now that French ultramarine has given it that kind of violet vibe, which I like to achieve in this painting because I can slightly see it. The longer you are in your paint journey, you will start to see colours that you've never seen previously. Okay, I'm going to leave that brush there. Take your time when you're painting. I feel some people want to do it all in one sitting. I know I'm a victim of that. I want to grab some of the grey now and mix this with a slight bit of the French just to get the bluey grey vibe going. Let's see what we get here. And you'll see the difference as I'm mixing it on the palette here. Take your time. And the best way to condition yourself to make yourself take your time is to whack that kettle on and have a cuppa.
I tell you what, Ian, it's always good to have a cup of tea when you're doing a painting.
It is. Now, I want to keep this just damp. There we go. Very easy. And I know if I can do this, you can as well. Now that's, I'm looking at it, that's okay. It may be a little bit dark. I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm just looking at this and I'm looking over at the reference picture, just getting a judgment of the value that I want to achieve here. The paint on the canvas is already starting to dry. It's a bit rubbery, but I don't mind that because this is a good interactive acrylic paint I'm using here. And obviously you can see the difference in those two values, and I've got the grey as well, and I've got the white. Okay, so you know what I'm doing. I'm just going to explain it to you. I want to start with this top of the cloud there, just that little triangle bit there. I'll make it, but I'll let something just feather down into here and I can cut it back with this next section. So on me buckley canvas paper, the sky is nearly dry. I'll just grab the white and I will start to make that shape. Now I want him about here, okay? So it's going to sort of come. Now my paint is not wet. Maybe it could have, would have, should have, but we're going to see how we go. I want to try it in front of you today. I'm just trying to get that shape like what's in the picture there. Reasonable. There we go there. Now see, when I started I got heavy paint here and this is soft here. I want to try and get that soft vibe going, just sitting it down onto the blue there. Just get that there, and then I want to just wipe my brush, there's not much on it, and just merge that downwards now, and it's picking up the blue, and the other cloud's going to be about here, so I want to go beyond that point. Okay, a little bit more, not too much, just so as I got something to scrumble down. And this is kind of like dry blending or scrumbling, I don't know. What's that word? Some people say scumble, some say scrumble. Now I'm just creating the edge now. The edge is what's got to be done first, and then we come back from the edge. Get rid of that flat line there, I don't like it. There we go, pretty simple. You can do that. Now I'm just looking at the picture and it's pretty much this bluey grey, so I'm going to pick up some of this and start adding this colour's footprint onto that area I just painted up here. So it's pretty much in the middle. Now I'm just dancing it around. Now I don't want this too wet with water because it's just going to sit on top of this white. I want it to blend in with this white. So I'm kind of getting this on there. Get a little bit more.
Oh, listen to the birds outside, Ian. They sound so alive.
Yeah, I've got the door open. It's quite nice. Soft rain falling down today. Now I want to get this. I've pretty much put a layer of this on top of that white. Picking up some of this deeper purple colour because I can see a deep section right where the other cloud meets this one. I want to get some of this now and just dance on there, stamp it on there, and let those two merge together. Up your brush, pick up the other bluey grey that you mixed and start building that up, because like this paper, it needs to be built up on top of it by the looks. And I'm going to pick up some of the purpley one now and heavily build that up. There we go. And just merge those two purples together. Wipe your brush, pick up the other one if you have to, just to sit it on top and merge them together, just so as there's a pleasant transition of the two colours. It looks a bit flat at the moment. Now I want to grab the pure white again, just to do the outside halo on that cloud. And now I want to get this nice and crisp. Easily does it. Just let it fade into that grey. Watch what I do here. Just let it fade. I'm looking at the picture and letting it tassel. Very lightly I'm touching that. Very lightly. And this is where the cloud will start to come alive. You want the very edge haloed bright and just tapering. I'm just getting some ideas from the reference how this is smeared into the grey there. Watch this, wipe your brush if you have to. I've got a ton of paint on there because this bit here, I want to really smear it into there. But press very lightly, like this is a paper, so if I press too hard, I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom of the paper and it'll look like it's all scratched and stupid. Little bit here. And practice procedures of a painting before you do it if you feel you're going to have trouble. That's what it's all about. Now I can see down here, this is coming along, which I'd like to have that because it's got that, that's a good look in a cloud, having that angle of, we got the very minimalist inside there, not much at all. This would have turned out so much better if I was using my canvas, but I've got to go and get more run out. At least I can get something, some exercise in here for you today. Now the one side of this is a lot more whiter, depending on how the sun's been hitting it. Quite bright here. Taper it in, get rid of those lines there, get rid of all those. Look at that, just sit them down. It's that easy. Take your time, stand back, squint your eyes, or turn your iPhone on and put the camera on and look at it through your camera lens. It's a good way to look at a painting as well. Now what you can do, which I feel I want to do, just to show you in this exercise, this ain't a 5-minute exercise, so don't watch 5 minutes of it and say, oh, it's taken too long. This is going to teach you something. I want to get this, not that red grey, the alizarin grey, I want to get that bluey grey, and I want to bring that back into that white because I feel it's a little bit weak. So I've just cleaned the brush and I want to dance that back on and gingerly come to the white and scrumble them together a little bit, because this is also a lot of backwards and forwards. Now that grey that I've just put on is wet. Before it dries, get some smeary bits into there. There we go. Okay, I can still come back to that and play with it, but I've pretty much got that there. Now I want to build this part of the cloud here, so I want to build all this up. So grabbing my white, I'll pretty much map in that footprint, which is about here. I'm doing it lightly just so you can see. We've got a downy bit and then another nice uppy bit up here, okay? I'll get this all mapped in. And we've got some bits just hovering in front of that grey there, coming down and around here, like so. I'll come up and down and around. And I want to pretty much get all this scrumbled in. I'm just shaping the edges the way I want with my brush and then pulling everything in here. Okay, we got that done. We can come down here a little bit more just to, that's going to feather in later, so I'll fade that into nothing down there. Now that looks a bit rubbishy at the moment, don't worry about that. We're going to build this up, that's what it's all about. Now I'm grabbing this, I want to grab some of the titanium white and get a lighter value of that because that's very heavy. I don't want it that dark. I'm using that brush now that I mixed it with, and I want to scrumble that into that white in the areas, just following the reference picture. As a reference only, don't try and get exact. So I'm going to stamp it on and pretty much scrumble it into all that white, stamp it on, get rid of the brush strokes. Oh, I don't know if you can hear that rain or not, but it's starting to rain. Getting this where I want it, from the reference coming down here, and we got a nice pocket of it here, dancing across here. I want to pick up this bluer grey and get this area stamped in where it is on the reference, so it's pretty much pocketing behind this colour here, coming down and coming down. Get this all blended into that white, stamped on, smear it in. Believe me, these work better. I'm not a fan on working on paper, but they're good for practicing on for beginners, or for anybody really, just to practice a layout. But they're not good to do an actual painting if you want to market it or sell it. So I've just stamped that on, down there like that. I've got my little scrumbling brush. I'm going to pick up the white now on its own, the titanium white, and I want to start blending this colour into there first. So I want to get that crisp, push that front first cloud we done back, and then bleed this into that colour we just put on there. Where are we? Nice and billowy there. Let's get some paint on the brush, Ian. I'm doing this top edge first, just so you get a vibe of what I'm doing. I'm feeling I've got to pick up another brush just to get that coming off. Yeah, that's better. Around here there's a bit. Now I'll use my scrumbling brush, and we want to get that just scrumbling in with that alizarin grey. We'll call that the alizarin grey, and the other one the blue grey. The red grey and the blue grey. So those two colours are like scrumbling together. Right on the edge there. And then just smear it down into that grey. Let's get some of that off there. Look at my brush, it's gone all dankulated. Smear that into the grey. Lightly does it though, you don't want to rip it into the paper. Slight bits into there. Alright, we've got a nice white bit here. Coming over that grey, pushing it back, and it's just tantalising itself into this grey now. So it's hard on this side, and it's softly blending into this side. That's how I can see it from my reference. So I'm just referencing that from the picture onto my canvas itself here. Looks like a mess at the moment, but when you've finished all the procedures, it does come together quite nice. Looking at it from a distance, you can see. I want to just show you, like, where are we? Here's a bit. There we go. Pushing that back in there. Now I'm just picking up more white, and it's going to start mixing with this, because down here, got a nice bright bit there, and it's slowly teasing itself into this colour as well, the reddish grey. And what's happening there? Nothing's here. This is quite dark, so we'll get a bit of this teasing up into the red grey. From here up, I'm making that hole within the cloud of darkness. There's a dark pocket of shadow there, so I'm keeping this, the bottom side, sharp, and then blending that into the cloud there, just so I've got that hard look here going on. Okay, and I'll just finish getting this whitey grey. Here's a bit smeary. Okay, Okay, now see here, I'm looking in my mind, I don't like this, it's not looking natural. I want to kind of bleed that into the grey a bit. Now just for this side of the cloud, we've got a lot of white banding around here, and it's just jostling into this grey now, fading into that grey. So I'm just scrumbling it together, making that, fading it into that grey. So you can see I've got hard shadow, fading, and then the hard edge again. Quite a bit of white, just pushing that, coming around, and then just smearing into there. Where are we? Right on there. I'm just going to try and get these brush strokes up here similar to what's down below. Now we're needing the red grey back in here, bleeding into the white. It's kind of lost because I'm painting on paper. It's slowly, if I'm not too careful, I'm rubbing it away. So we got some there. So pretty much, long story short, I've mixed up the values of shadowy greys that I feel's in the painting, and I'm just judging them by the reference where they are and laying them down on here. I just noticed in the reference, which will look good on the painting, there's a strong indication of blue grey right here. I need to get that in there to create the depth. So this bit right here is deep and blue. I'm getting some more of the darker blue grey. So I've added just a bit more of the French ultramarine blue into that, and I want to taper this down into that colour there, getting it nice and hard against that light colour, because when you get the lights and darks together they really make a painting pop. And then just feather that down into this grey colour here, which is what I'm doing. There's some pockets of it just in there too, just getting these right values there. All the way down here. That noise there, that's, when you hear that, don't worry, that's just my phone telling me there's movement in front of me, CCTV cameras. Been looking at this and the reference, I'm working out something's not right here, and what I've done wrong, I've got the bright white here where it's got to be that colour right on the edge. I hope you can hear me through all that rain. And this is going to make it finally look right. All along here, cover that white up. This is teasing there, then we can add the whites back accordingly. Getting the white little values where they've got to go. There's a nice section of it kind of bleeding into here, not too much. Little bits of white teasing. A little bit just there. It's the smears where it fades and evaporates into the other colour, I feel, that gives you the dimension of a shape that you're looking for. Smearing into that grey there a little bit. Up there. Get some paint off the brush and put it on. And then we've got some little pieces tapering in. just smearing into that grey. Now that grey, obviously when I put it on, has dried when I'm putting this white on. So watch what I do. I've got that white too heavy. So that grey colour, which was the bluey grey, I'll go back over that with the grey and iron the two together just like that. That way I haven't got that hard white edge where I wanted it to be smeary. I've got it back smeary again. Let me have a look at the monitor. That's okay, and we're getting a cloud. But I don't like this piece right there. I want to block that off with some... Well, there's going to be a cloud in front of that anyway. Another one here. Another section of it. I just feel there's a little bit of darker bluey grey. I'm just looking just where this is meeting that white, just along here somewhere. I'm just gingerly putting it in and fading it to my right side over here, putting it in against the white and fading it into this reddy grey. I feel this is a bit too blue, so I'm going back to the lighter blue or grey because I added a darker blue or grey. I want to go back to this and just tone that down a little bit. It's looking a bit loud and bluey, like what I call cartoony. Dance it back in there, iron it together, merge it, smear it, blend it like it's been airbrushed type of thing. And over here as well, it's a little bit too hard, so I'm going back again. It's backwards and forwards. Slow and steady wins your race with these paintings. Now that ball of fluff is there. We've got to add this side. That is the ball of fluff. We're going to add this side now. So I'm grabbing the titanium white. It's coming down here and then back and then up. Okay, so I'm going to just smear that into the painting there. And we'll pretty much get all this rubbed into that blue now. I'm rubbing it right into there. There we go. I've just closed the door. Hopefully that's made it a bit better. Now we've got a bit of the red, so we need, where are we? Whoomp. We've got a little bit of this up in here. Get right to the edge, stamp it on. I'm just looking where it is. There's going to be a bit of white between that one, so that's okay. Get this one smeared into that white. Just smear it into that white. There we go. Smear it in with join up to that one there. Somewhere here. Where are we? Got a little bit tapering down here. Some bits of it there. That's the end of the painting.
How do you know it's the end of the painting, Ian?
Because it's at the bottom of the canvas. It's the end where you can't go no more.
Ah.
Okay, now we need the bluey grey, which is this one here. I just done all that grey there, the reddy grey. Now we'll pick up the bluey grey. Now before I finish, I don't want, that's looking too straight. It's got to look more fluffy and natural. Well, we'll make that up with the white as we go. Now we're going to get this colour and smear it onto there and merge it together. Lightly does it. You don't want to peel. If I push too hard, I'm going to rip down to the white of the painting, and I don't want to do that. This is just, you can just go like this. Look, I'll show you. Stamp it on, stamp it on, stamp it on. Get rid of those lumps and bumps and goobly gloops. I want to merge those two together just gingerly, and then I can finesse them whether they need to be a sharp finish or a fading finish. I've just noticed the slightest bit of red down this bit here, so I'm going to put that there. Pick this one back up and just taper that through. Obviously it's the light underneath lighting it up like that. Now that looks a bit weird at the moment, but that's okay. I don't want to have too many whites making lines and edging it off. It's one thing I hate is having edges on pictures. That's just a pet hate of mine. Okay, now we'll get those white bits nicely finessed. So I'll start with this piece here because it's behind that one. So I'm just going to taper that, a nice sharp white edge there, and then billowing, and then tapering into that grey. And a lot of this is white and bright here, tapering into that grey. Get rid of some of that, so it's going to scrumble. And if it's overpowering, you just pick up, what was that one, the red one? Pick that one back up and dance it back on, just so you can get that merging vibe of the two colours. That top side's fading into that shadow colour, and this side will be hard white. And I can see little whispers out here, just dusting it. I'm dusting it on there. Clouds have that, it just gives it that realistic bullshitty vibe. Now I can see here I've got to make this now. So watch this. Remember how I said that looks too straight lined? Don't like it, and I'm sure some of you have already picked that up and thinking, what are you doing, Ian? So we want to go here, and then get this one billowing out and tapering onto that shadowed colour as well, which is just there. Fix that bit up. Now I've got to fix this bit up. So I'm looking at the picture there. It's quite, so what it's doing, it's bleeding back into this shadow colour with some tassely tails on it like that, and this side is bleeding hard white into that shadow colour there. So I'll do a little bit, and it's joining up to here, but it's not pure white. How's that? We've got rid of that. I just want to put something here just to kill that point. And now we've got a lighter area here, just smearing into these greys. Get some more, pretty much here, fingering up into the greys there. It's a bit of a glary, lighter colour. We've got a lighter bit coming here, fading to the left side, and a little bit jaggering up there. Take some of it off the brush. There are bits of it just gingerly mapping into there, but if that's too bright, I've got to put the blue back onto it. And over here, so this one now has to be sharper and taper back up into that side, because that, I've got a heavy blue edge there and I don't like it. This is what analysing does to your paintings. It allows you to rectify your problems that look iffy to the eye. And hopefully that's... Now I want to add this area here. I'm going to add it all on there with the white, add the greys, and then add the whites back again, smearing it like we did over here. So picking up me white, and what do we got? We got a nice pocket here, and I'm just trying to map the edge, getting it a natural looking without any weird, there we go. I'll map all that in now. I really wish I had canvas, because this would have worked out so good on canvas. I'm just going to get all this coloured in the white, so I've got something to sit me shadow colours in there like I did on the other side. Okay, looking at that, we've got the red grey, which is all down here now. So we've got smearing up. Now that white is a little bit wet still, so I'll persevere with it. It's kind of tapering up into there, smearing it. I'm blending it now. Look at that, like I do. Blend it with tassels. And getting this all the way down here onto there, stamp it on. There's going to be some white tassels there breaking it up. Now I hope you're enjoying this video. If you are, hit that like button. Tell me who you are. Say hello and I'll say hello back. Now this is just coming here. Got this vibe here. Tasseling up. I want to tassel the edges, so when I bring the white into it, I can tassel them nice and soft as well. All close to the edge. And then it tapers away from the edge. And then we got some more edge there. And just to finish it off, there is a big, heavy, dark bluey grey right in this corner. Tassel that into there so you can merge it later with the white. See what I'm doing? Tasseling it together, joining it together. You can do that. I feel there's a little bit over here just picking through. Put it on and tassel it together. If it's dry, it doesn't tassel together. That's why you've got to get the other colour and wet it and make it. So I've got a bit of that there. No. That's it. Probably a little bit of this tasseling here, not too much, just get an edge and bring it down into this reddy grey. Just there like that, and watch when we put the whites on. Over here, which are quite heavy. So get it there and tassel it through. See there, I'm going to grab the red one again. Watch this, because that's a bit hard there, and just re-tassel, rejoin it, re-merge it, just so it's softer. Analysing made me find that problem. And probably a little bit of darkness just from the bottom. Now I want to put this guy behind first. I'm doing the behind clouds first. So I've cleaned my scrumbling brush that I've been using, putting the white on with. And I want to get this now nice and sharp and get the nice white edges and smear it back into that reddy grey and the bluey greys. Just giving ourselves a nice white hard edge. Some of it's in there a bit like that. Just getting this hard and then smear it into that red shadow colour. That's all you got to do. Smear it. Just coming over here, tapering up into that, to my left of the brush there, tapering up into that, going into nothing. And now where I put that darker grey blue, I'm putting some heavier white just there now. Joining it up, looking at the reference, getting a vibe of what needs to be going on. Coming over this bluey grey there, nice and sharp. From the top of my brush is sharp, and then down is meeting that bluey grey. And then between here, we've got it kind of sharp, but it's tasseling up, tail tasseling up into that side of a cloud there, giving that vibe of whispery, smeary cloud. And this is a smeary band pretty much going all the way across here into those colours, tasseling through. And you would have seen cloud like this. I know I have. And if you haven't, I don't know what planet you're from. And we've got a nice white bit just here, tasseling up. Now we have from here to that grey, we got a nice bit of white, which is sharp. First it's smeary out here, but it's very sharp against that colour there. And then this half is smeary. Now that smeary colour that I'm trying to smear it into has gone a bit dry, so I'm going to pick some of that up on my brush and just reintroduce it there so I can get that happening. I want to get the grey blue just to kill some of that. It's a bit too strong there. I'm looking at it. It's too blue there, so I'm just grabbing some of that grey blue, killing that down a bit. Because the acrylics will dry darker. There we go. It's still dark there, but it's not as harsh. Covering up the empty spots. Out here, into there. Just look at it, analyse it. I'm just looking at the reference, trying to find points of real bright bits in the white. Oh, that's a bit bright, isn't it? Oh well, it is what it is. Okay, down here I have some Payne's Grey. I've just put a little bit of water to loosen it up a bit. And I want to find an appropriate brush. I'll try this little hog bristle weird looking thing. I don't know what it's called. It's a Monarch 6mm. And we'll do some indication of the leaves coming into the painting. Okay, I'm just switching brushes up a bit. I've just gone and changed to a filbert brush. I want to try and see what's coming through here. Something about there. Just look in the monitor there, that's looking reasonable. Okay, grab a script liner and get it quite inky. Get an idea on the reference where some branches are and then add them onto your... So I'm going to actually put one right about here. You don't want it in a straight line though. You want to kind of give it some bending and something like that. Join something there. Join stuff together. Twisting my brush as I go, and that's coming to there. And then we obviously got something in the middle here joining this. Get stuff joining there so it looks right, because it's not a realistic painting, but it's, you want the vibes of realism in it. I'll just sign this painting, then we will reveal it. And I want to thank you for watching this video. Give me the thumbs up. If you want to become a YouTube channel member, simply hit that join tab. Check out my merchandise. I've got merchandise. All sorts of clothing and apparel there. Help support my channel. There we go. That's not too shabby, is it? Beautiful cumulus cloud exercise. With a bit of practice and understanding your colours, I know you can do it. Well, that was exciting, fun and very different. I did enjoy that and I hope you did too. If you did, you tell your friends if you like what you saw here. But if you don't like what I'm doing, you tell everybody. Goodbye, good luck and good on ya.